a user named Knivesngunsccw. Check the link on the sidebar. He left me a message asking if I could review my Smith & Wesson 686. I get a lot of requests, firearms requests from people. When I first started on YouTube, that's what I did a lot of, was firearms videos. And you know, and I don't do them as often as I should now, so I kind of feel bad about that. So I definitely will try this one. Having said all that, there's a user named Nutnfancy who just did an outstanding review of the 686P. Check the link on the sidebar. It's definitely a video worth watching. It's a very long video. Let's say like 45 minutes or something like that. So pop some popcorn. But it's, if you're into the revolvers, you're into the Smith & Wesson 686, definitely check this out. Now, why do I want to do a review on my 686 other than the fact that Knivesngunsccw asked me to do it? This gun is very near and dear to my heart. The Smith & Wesson 686 is the first handgun that I ever purchased when I became old enough to own a handgun. In the United States, you can purchase a long arm, you know, rifle or shotgun at 18. But you have to be 21 years old to legally purchase a handgun. So when I turned 21, you know, one of the rites of passage, I guess, was to go out and buy a handgun. And the 686 was the one that I settled on. Some of the reasons that I came up with back then was I wanted a reliable handgun. And you know what? As far as reliability goes, a quality revolver, you just can't beat reliability-wise. So when you pull the trigger, it's going to fire. Back then, we're talking the late 80s, the semi-autos had a very bad reputation for jams and things like that. And it wasn't until I think when Glock kind of raised the bar for everybody that they started getting much better. Most of them stealing Glock's design. But yeah, obviously I'm a Glock fan also. But anyway, I wanted a reliable handgun, and I wanted a fairly large handgun that I felt like I could defend myself with. But I wanted, you know, cost was an issue, you know, young guy. The thing about the 357 is you can shoot 38 shells out of the 357, which is really kind of nice. Because when you compare the price between a 357 Magnum round and a 38, it's a big difference. So economically, I could go out shooting and not really worry about breaking the bank. Now I'm talking about late 80s. Today, of course, you know, even 22s will break the bank because ammo's getting very hard to come by, and it's very expensive when you do find it. Anyway, the 686 kind of fit the bill for me. It just had everything I was looking for in a gun. Now, back then, they only came with a 6-round capacity. Now the 686, you can actually have a 7-round version of it, which is, I believe, the one that Nutnfancy reviews. But I'm a traditionalist anyway. Now, this is not the gun that I'm talking about when I turned 21. I actually sold that, several years ago, and I regretted it. I mean, I remember even after I took the guy's money and handed him the gun, I remember thinking to myself, what am I doing? You know? So years later, I purchased another one. Now, this 686 is almost identical to the one that I had years before. In fact, it is identical. This gun here cost about $420. Well, it cost me about $420 about 6 years ago. Today, the manufacturer suggested retail price is about $932, I think. But I mean, I don't know. I'd have to call a gun shop to see what they're actually selling for. But I'll bet you pretty close to that. These guns really hold their value and seem to go up in value. I could probably make money on selling this today, which I'm never going to sell this gun again. It's not going to happen. Now, I did put a $100 trigger job on this gun. I like a smooth trigger. These guns are very stiff, in my opinion, out of the box. Now, once you put a few hundred rounds through them, they do kind of loosen up a little bit. But I don't have that kind of patience, so I paid the gunsmith at the gun shop to go ahead and smooth it out for me. It was worth every penny of the $100. Now, there are different levels of trigger jobs, and they can be much more expensive than $100, but the $100 one was really all I was looking for. Now, a lot of people today will say, well, you know, it's only got a limited amount of rounds, whether it's 5 or 6 rounds, or you know, some wheel guns are 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, and obviously I just said 7 rounds. Versus the semi-auto, well, you know, that's true. But, you know, the one thing that I find with handguns is it doesn't really matter what handgun you have. You have to practice, and practice a lot to become very proficient. I'm going to link to this video in the sidebar of this gun battle that was in Toledo, Ohio at this bar called Route 66, which ironically enough I've actually been to a couple of times in my life because it's only about maybe 10 minutes down the road from my house. The gun battle clearly shows everybody with semi-automatics, and I think they shot dozens of rounds and nobody even got nicked. You know, so if you don't practice with your firearm, become proficient, it doesn't matter what you're carrying. Now, there are some tools to help you be a little faster. I'm going to show you real quick. Now, this gun is completely empty. This is what's called a jet loader, and it's designed to help you load this gun. Now, once you've fired off 6 rounds, you'd expel the rounds with that, and then you would jam this in like that, and then, boom, all 6 rounds are loaded. Now, I don't need it loaded at this point, but you get the idea. It's actually a very, very fast way, and of course, just like anything else, you have to practice. The other thing about this gun that I really, really like is the fact that it's both double action and single action. Now, for those of you that don't know the difference, a double action is when the hammer's all the way down forward. You pull the trigger, and you'll notice the hammer coming back, and then boom. Single action is where you cock the hammer, and then you pull the trigger. Now, the single action is going to be more accurate, but that assumes that you have time to set your shot up, whereas a double action, you're just firing away. Now, some people will say never dry fire your weapon. Well, you know what? I don't care. I dry fire mine all the time. Now this gun weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 ounces, so it's a pretty big chunk of steel. Some people don't like the weight of this gun. I kind of like it. It helps with recoil issues, with muzzle lift. It's got a 6-inch barrel, which in my opinion is really awesome as far as accuracy goes. Most semi-automatics, by the way, have like 4.5-inch barrels. Some of them 3.5-inch barrels. The 6-inch barrel is a very, very accurate barrel. Another thing about this gun I really like is it's stainless. And I've got both blued guns and stainless guns. I've got coated guns. I've got just about every kind of a different finish gun that you can think of. Nickel. The stainless is just really nice for cleaning. It really makes life fun as far as cleaning guns go. I like it, and some people don't like it because it shines, maybe gives away your position, you know, whatever. Anyway, it's a really awesome gun. When I bought my first 686, they came with wooden grips, and so one of the first things that most people did was to go ahead and put the rubber grips on. Now the Smith & Wessons all come with the Hogue rubber grips, which is really awesome. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the gun. I mean, look, you won't regret buying this gun. If you want a revolver, the 686 Smith & Wesson is really a very quality piece. If you're deciding between something to carry, you know, it's a little big to carry, to be honest with you. It is. It's a little big to carry. But I'll tell you what, to do this video, I didn't have to look hard for this gun because it's always in my nightstand, right next to my bed. You know, so I guess it all depends on what you want. So anyway, listen, hopefully this was somewhat helpful. I don't know. I do need to do some more gun videos. I wish I could shoot this for you, but unfortunately I'm at my house up north and I don't have the ability to shoot this gun up here. But there are videos, I do have videos I believe up where you can actually see this particular firearm being shot. So just look through my archives. Anyway, if anybody has any questions, feel free, fire away in the comment section or send me a PM. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. And like I said, check out Nutnfancy's review. He does a very good job reviewing a firearm. And if you're looking for a handgun, go out and buy the Smith & Wesson 686. Everybody, you take care.